Hey everybody, my name is JP Biambi. This is the Merchant Advisory Services YouTube channel. I happen to be the guy that runs this little outfit. Today, I want to do a quick little video to share with you how to review or analyze a merchant statement. We're going to make sense of what a merchant statement looks like so you can understand what it's about. Most people who don't know what a merchant statement is, you might learn what one is. If you are like an agent and you have to analyze merchant statements for your customers, this might be useful for you. If you're a business owner and you have a merchant account or a point of sale, and you want to try to understand your merchant statement or make sense of what's on the merchant statement so you can understand a little bit more about what's happening beneath the sales at your point of sale. If you want to understand the types of cars that are coming in, the transactions that are happening, the amount of fees you're paying, then this might be good for you. What I'm going to do is I'm going to break down the simple parts of a merchant statement. Basically, we're going to talk about what it is, what's in it, and why it's important. So if you're an agent, this might be useful for you because you might learn something about how you can help your merchants or how to sell when you can analyze a merchant statement. And if not, if you're a business owner and you're not an agent, then this might be useful for you so you can understand how to read your merchant statements if your merchant processor sends you one. I'm doing this really quick because I have a customer and they told me that, the merchant statement that they're getting is starting to seem confusing. And then they weren't really sure about what was on there. So I'm doing this video so that way they can get a little understanding of what they will see on their merchant statement. And if you're not familiar with what a merchant statement is, basically when a business accepts credit cards, they have to have a bank account that holds that money for the day until it settles and batches out all the sales for the day and sends all the sales for their day to their bank account the very next day. That holding account is called a merchant account. It's basically attached to their point of sale, and all the daily sales are held in there until it reaches the business owner's bank account the next day or 2 days later, whenever it happens. That's called settlement. And the merchant account has what is called a statement. And basically, it's similar to a bank statement or any kind of bill you might get that shows all the transactions. And a merchant statement is pretty much the opposite of what you might see on a bank statement. When I get my bank statement or I get my credit card statement, it shows all the transactions I made and where. Well, for a business owner, when you receive your merchant statement for your merchant account, it basically shows all the opposite transactions of all the people that have made transactions at that business. So it'll show all the transactions that happened each day and every day for the whole month. It shows the batches, the settlements for each day, and it shows the transactions. Or actually, it doesn't show each transaction, it shows the batches for each day as a total, and your dashboard or whatnot should be able to show you the different transactions. So what we're going to do is we're going to break down the different parts of a merchant statement. Let's jump into that. Let me see if I could share my screen with you and present a sample statement that I have up. So here we have a sample merchant statement. And as you can see on the top, there are red boxes with letters in them. And as we go through the merchant statement, you're going to be able to see those red boxes on the different parts of the merchant statement, and that's going to identify that area. So real quick, let's go into that. First, you're going to see in box A, in area A, the merchant specific account details. This is basically your information. So right here where you see A, this is going to show the specific details about your merchant account, which include your merchant ID number, where they're depositing your funds, which your deposit account number, and your routing number. This is important because as a business owner, you always want to confirm and make sure that your routing and deposit number are correct because that's where the funds are being settled to. So there's any kind of error, you will see that here in your merchant statement. You always want to confirm the first time you receive your merchant statement that these are correct. You might want to make a note of your merchant number and write it down somewhere, because whenever you call customer support or you have to deal with with your payment processor or provider, they may ask you for your merchant identification number to identify you and know who they are dealing with. Now they can use that same that merchant identification number to track batches, transactions at your point of sale. That merchant ID number basically identifies your business to the payment processor. As well, you're going to see in there the processing month for which this bill is being sent to you for. That's in section A. Now in section B, it's going to have the business name and information, and if you're the owner, it might have your information down here in section B. Always make sure this is correct, because this should be your business address of where you're either accepting payments at the business, or maybe it's sent to your corporate office, because that's where you want the bill sent. But these should be correct. If not, you may not be receiving your statement, and there may be a mistake when goods need to get shipped, or if transaction happens and the address is listed incorrectly, a customer may get confused. So it's important to make sure that your address is listed correctly, because this will show up on receipts. This will show up when your payment provider sends you a statement or anything in the mail. Any notifications are going to go to this address, so make sure it's correct. At the same time, now under section B, we're going to have section C, which is going to be your fees. Most likely, some statements are going to have your fees in big, bold letters right in the middle. On this statement right here, it shows it on the side just below the customer service number, and it shows the amount that's deducted. And those usually on the top right-hand corner, because that's kind of where our eyes go when you go down the page. You could see the number for customer service, you could see our MID, you see the month, and then below that, they immediately show you the amount deducted. Most merchant statements don't look like this. This is just an example merchant statement I'm using to show you exactly where on the merchant statement these different items will be and what they are. If you have a merchant statement that doesn't look like this and you need help making sense of where things are, schedule a meeting with us and I can help you identify those things. For example, what you could do is, let me throw that up on the there you go. If you want a savings quote, visit our website. Or check us out online at merchantadvisoryservices.com. Now, back to the statement. If your statement doesn't look like this, get in touch with us and we will help you clear up what your statement means. This is the sample statement that we're just using for today's purposes to help you identify where the different parts of the statement that are important for you to know. D, summary of processing card type. This is where it gets a little bit complicated. Right below, or usually this will be on the second page of sometimes other merchant statements. Usually on some merchant statements, you'll see the information on the front page with the fees and your name, and then the second page will have this plan summary. This is where it shows all the different sales that you've made. It shows the number of sales per card. And as you see on this statement, it shows the plan code and it's got some initials there. These are basically the plan code for the types of cards that were accepted at the business. So as you could see here, since I'm familiar, I know what these things mean, I can tell you what they are. However, on a merchant statement like this, you just have to scroll to the bottom and there's going to be a little key code at the bottom down here, as you can see, and it's got the plan codes. And it explains to you or defines what, this is like a key, and it defines what each of those little initials stands for. So as you could see, if I go down here, I will look, AM means American Express, VS means Visa, MC means MasterCard, DS Discover. Most people are familiar with that. EBT means EBT. D means deposit, A means adjustment. These are all the, this is a key to all of the initials or coded information that's not spelled out clearly on the statement. Most statements will have this listed out, but if it's not, there should be a key on the bottom that explains to you what that is. So here you could see American Express, they've had 4 sales. Discover would be DS, MC would be MasterCard, VS would be Visa, DP. That would be, let's go down here and look for it. DP would be, DS, I guess there's no answer for that. Deposit. Discover Business. Might be one of those. If there's a code on there that you're not familiar, you don't see it, you can always call your processor and ask them exactly what is that code for. That's what I might do in this case, to say, hey, what does DP mean? That also might stand for debits. So basically, there's one transaction for DP, one for Discover, 5 for MasterCard, 12 for Visa, and 4 for Amex, for a total of 23. The total amount of sales will add up on the bottom and show you the total for each card to give you your total for the month. Credits would be any refunds that happened. These are the amount of the transactions. Amount of credits would be the sale amount that was returned. Net would be the amount of your sales minus any credits. So if there were any credits here, you'd see the net sales be a little less than what the total amount was, or the gross was. The average ticket is basically the number of sales divided by the total amount. So if there were 4 here and there were 600 in sales, you divide the 601.12 by 4 and you get 150.28. Same thing for the rest of them. This DISCPI stands for discount. That's the discount rate that the merchant service provider is charging. And this would be equivalent to about 43 basis points, 0.43, and that's represented as a percent. So 0.43% would mean that true number is 43 basis points, or let's just say 0.5%. That would be 0.0043 as a number represented. Discount percent, 3.27. That right here is the percentage rate of discount that they're charging. And if you multiply this discount percentage by the total amount of sales, that's how you're going to get the discount due. Below that, you'll have some news or information that they tell you in a breakdown in a pie chart or a graph on the amount of sales and where they're coming from. It also should have notices. So you also want to look at the second page or the first page of your statement to see for any notices when they're giving you information. If there's going to be any changes to your bill, any fee increases, maybe the interchange rates for your business category may change. Anything that's important for your business to know. Annual notices, they're going to list them on the second page clearly so you could see them. So make sure you always look out for that and read the fine print. If there's something in there that says, hey, there's going to be an annual fee increase at the end of the year, you might want to take note of that. So that way you're not surprised at the end of the year when that fee increase hits. Next would be the breakdown of the transaction batch deposits by day. So this basically in the third section will show you each day of the month, how many sales they were, how much those sales were for the day, if there were any credits, and then how much was sent to the bank account. So basically these are the batch or settlements that are sent to the bank account each day. Day 10, day 11, day 16, day 17, it literally will have a individual batch for each day of the week. And it'll explain to you what day of the week. So for a business that accepted payments every day in the month, there might be 30 days here. For this business, there might have been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, about 9 days when they accepted payments. So it shows each day of the month when those transactions happen, a reference number, so you can track that batch, the transaction code, which will show you what it is. If you go down here, that would be the deposit. If it was an adjustment, you'd see an A there. If they reverse something, and then credits would be any refunds that happened that day. So that's the total number of sales that happened, how much the total sales were for that day, and then any credits. So next after that will be the breakdown of the fees to be deducted. So down to F will be the breakdown of fees down here. Any of the fees that your merchant service provider are going to charge you, statement fees, regulatory fees, fees that are not from the card brands. Anything in addition to what the card brands like Visa or MasterCard would charge when that card is swiped. That's what you're going to see here, as well as like your batch fee, your annual fees, your statement fees. And if any of those fees come up in that month, you're going to see them here. And usually this is a lot longer. This is a simple statement and only shows the basic ones, but you're always going to see an acquirer fee. You're always going to see a license fee. Those things are always going to be there. However, you may not see a non-receipt of PCI validation. If that line shows up on your statement, contact Merchant Advisory Services right away. We can help you become PCI compliant. If you ever see a non-PCI compliant fee on your statement, contact us. It's usually a penalty, and it means they're charging you extra money that you don't have to pay. So if you want to avoid having to pay a PCI non-compliance fee, reach out to us. We can help you with that. If not, reach out to your merchant service provider and tell them you'd like to become PCI compliant. Finally, the last section would be G, total of all the discount and miscellaneous fees that will be deducted for your account. So the bottom box literally shows how much money will be taken out from the account at the end of the month when the bill is due. Basically, merchant accounts will show you the amount that is deducted for that month from the total amount that you processed. And this will be in that bottom box. It'll show how much the discount is, how much the fees are, and what the total is. Fees are the standard fees. Discount are what the credit card companies will charge. And with that, you're going to see the total below that. The really simple statement, I know. This is just for example purposes. This is just to help you understand the different elements of a merchant statement, okay? I know not all merchant statements are going to look like this. I know if you're an agent, you might come across all different types of statements, and it's hard to decipher what type of pricing plan that merchant is on. I know it's very difficult as an agent. As a business owner, when you're looking at a statement, it's probably confusing. However, the most important thing to know is just visualize it in parts and then only focus on the part you need by taking the information that you need from that part. Don't get overwhelmed with everything on the statement at once. That's how you'll get confused, and that's what makes it daunting. That's what makes it difficult. So the best thing to do is to isolate it by page, then section on that page, look for what you're looking for on that page in that section, and then take what you need and use that. So for example, when I look at a merchant statement, I might go right to the second page to check for any notices because I want to be informed about anything that's new or different or changing, whether it's this month, next month, or in the future before I do anything. So I just want to be informed. So the first thing I might do is check the notices. Then I'll go back to the first page and check to make sure that I'm looking at the correct statement. Do I have the correct business address, the name on there? Is the merchant ID listed, and are the DDA and bank routing information accurate for my business? Those are vital. Is this statement the correct month that I'm looking for? Is it last month or the month before? These are all vital statistics you're going to see on the first page. Most of the times on that first page, you'll also see the total amount processed or the total sales that came in through the card, and then the amount of fees that were deducted, as well as any refunds or adjustments that were reversed. Those are some basics that you'll always see on the first page with some fine print. Those are the most important things. Once you get into the second and third pages, you'll start to see more detailed information in terms of your batch, your batches for each day, your sales based on card type, and then the average sale amounts for each card type, with the total amount of sales for each card type, and then so on. Below that, you'll always see the fees. And a lot of the times in merchant statements, when there's a lot of different cards that are presented at your business, from an American Express card to a Visa card to a Discover card to corporate cards, there's going to be a whole list of different interchange fees or not based on the type of pricing program you have. So if you're a business owner and you're not sure how to, or you're not sure what pricing program you're on, contact us. We can help you decipher from what your statement looks like. We'll be able to tell you what pricing program you're on and help you decipher what those fees mean for you specifically, because every merchant account is different for each merchant. They're all set up differently based on that type of business it is and how they want their payments flow set up. Now, if you're an agent and you want to learn how to read statements, you can get a hold of us because that's what we do here. I know there are software programs, there are companies you can pay to analyze your statements for you because they use all type of artificial intelligence. They have software. Maybe they got some guy in the back room using the calculator punching numbers. Who knows? But those services cost money. They might be accurate or not, but they cost money. The most important thing to know is if you're starting out, if you're an agent and you don't have a lot of money, you can't afford software to pay to analyze your statements, one of the things to do is to just learn the basics. We can help you do that here at Merchant Advisory Services. Whether you're an agent or you're a business owner, we can help you make sense of your merchant statements. If you have any questions about anything I mentioned here, if you have any comments, maybe I made a mistake, let me know. Help me out. If this video is helpful, hit the like button. That's going to help the algorithm, help this information get out to the people who need it. If this information is useful to you and you're a business owner and you want to see more like this, then you can subscribe and you'll be notified whenever we upload videos or we go live. Hopefully this has been helpful to you. You can follow us on social media at Merchant Advisory Services on Instagram, on Twitter as well. You can subscribe to our YouTube page. You can also reach out to us on the web at merchantadvisoryservices.com. You can call or text us at any time, 646-780-0802. Thanks. Looking forward to hearing from you. We'll see you next time.